At the start of Football Manager 2024, you will find Kenan Yildiz as part of Juventus' first team. He's 18 years old, has represented the Turkish under-21s 3 times, and he's valued by Juventus at £4.7 to £14 million. He has a contract worth £4,700 per week, and that will run until the end of the 2027 season. Looking at the player, he's going to be an attacking player that gives you many options in terms of position. He can play out wide on the left, on the right, can even play through the middle, and can be a makeshift striker if you need him to be. Looking at his attributes, his physical game is pretty much there to be developed, starting off with the acceleration of 12, the pace of 12, he has good natural fitness and agility. In the mentals, determination of 16, a flair of 17, vision of 12, and anticipation of 12 also. Then in the technicals, dribbling of 13, first touch of 13, free kick taking of 13, passing of 13, and technique of 14. He starts the game off with one player trait, which is tries tricks. His media description is an attacking midfielder. He starts the game off looking like a really good prospect, but what happens to him in 5 years' time? Let's jump forwards to 2028 and see where Kenan Yıldız will be. So we have now jumped forwards, it is 2028, and we can see that Kenan Yıldız is still at Juventus. He's now 23 years old, valued at £3.8 to £11.5 million, has a contract worth £25,500, and that runs to the end of the 2032 season. Now in real life, Kenan Yıldız is a Turkish international, so when the winter update comes out, he will be locked in as a Turkish international. However, in this version of the save, he has decided to declare for Germany and would represent them 12 times at under-21s level. The next thing to notice is that the player has suffered a significant injury. He has had a lower back stress fracture. Now, when these things happen, sometimes it knocks the player's development back a little bit, and you can see in the mentors, his bravery has dropped off to 10, and that normally is a result of a big injury. But we're going to continue on and see how he has been getting on anyway, because the player roughly looks like he did in 2023 anyway. He has a bit more development in the physicals, scoring 1 point here and there in terms of that development. The mentals are pretty much as they were before, and the technicals, it's still about his dribbling, his first touch, free kick taking, his technique, and his passing. Looking at the player traits, he has added tries killer balls often, tries tricks, and now has cuts inside from the left wing too. Let's look at how his playing has been getting on to see how he got that injury. So from the 23-24 season, he actually had a season out on loan at Sud-Tirol. In Serie B, he played 20 times, scoring 6 goals. He then was in and out of Juventus' under-23s team, playing quite a lot of games at youth team football, but not really breaking into the Juventus' first team. Most recent season, 27-28, he would play 25 times for the under-23s and then broke into the first team, playing just 4 times. So that might have stifled a bit of his development alongside his injury. The next jump forwards is to 2033. Let's see how Kenan Yıldız will turn out. Hopefully, he can stay injury-free. So it is now 2033 and we have jumped further forward, and we find Kenan Yıldız has swapped Juventus for Schalke. He's now 28 years old, still has only represented Germany at under-21s level, but he's valued by Schalke at £12.5 to £37 million. His contract is worth £65,000 per week, and that runs to the end of the 2037 season. Looking at the player, I think he probably was held back by that injury early on. His physicals don't seem to have had too much more improvement, but there is some improvement in the mentals. Composure of 15, determination of 16, flair of 18, off the ball of 14, and vision of 15. In the technicals, dribbling of 14, first touch of 14, passing of 14, and technique of 15. Looking at the player traits, tries killer balls often, tries tricks, likes to play into feet, and cuts inside from the left wing. We look at the history then to see how he has got to this point. So after being in and out of the Juventus under-23s team, he would eventually get loaned to Germany, first to Köln, where he would play in the Bundesliga 21 times in that season, the 29-30 season. Then he would be loaned back to the Bundesliga with Schalke in the 30-31 season, where he played 32 times, would actually score 5 goals whilst he was there. That prompted them to spend £1.7 million on him. He would then play 17 times in that campaign, and in the 32-33 season, he would play 28 times, scoring 1 goal and having 3 assists. So, been a bit of a mixed bag for Kenan Yildiz, but he does still have a little bit of time to get the most out of his career. What will happen when we get to 2038? So we have made the final jump forwards. It's 2038 and Kenan Yıldız is still at Schalke. He's now 33 years old, valued at 5.4 to £16 million, has a contract worth £68,000 per week, and that runs to the end of the 2039 season. Looking at the player, he has definitely now reached the peak of his powers, and in fairness has probably had a little bit of a decline in certain areas. A few of the physicals have certainly showed signs of dropping away a little bit, but in the mentals he still retains good determination, flair off the ball and vision, and in the technicals he has good dribbling, first touch, free kick taking, he has good passing and technique. In terms of the player traits, he still likes to try killer balls often, tries tricks, likes the ball played into feet, likes to switch the ball to wide areas and cuts inside from the left wing. So let's find out then, how did his career at Schalke go? So we had already joined him when he had joined Schalke, and you can see he's had a bit of an up and down time really. 32-33 campaign he would play 28 times, and it looked like he was going on to be a first team regular, but then he would only play 18 times, 6 times in the 34-35 campaign, but then back into the first team 35-36 24 games, in the 36-37 campaign 34 games, and in the 37-38 campaign he would play 32 times. Both of the last 2 seasons he would score a 7 average rating, so that gives him career stats of 371 appearances, 51 goals, 48 assists, 22 player of the match awards, and just missing out on that 7 average rating with a 6.97. If we go into the milestones to see a few of his personal ones, so not a lot really going on at Juventus. Scored his first senior goal for the under-23s, World Cup winners at under-20 levels. Then he went to Köln and was in the seasonal best 11 before he went to Schalke for 1.7 million, and then it was a case of just being in their seasonal best 11. In terms of things won, not a lot there either. That FIFA Under-20 World Cup winner and Supercoppa Italiana runner-up when he was at Juventus. So he has actually turned out to be a steady Eddie of a player. He hasn't been spectacular, but he also probably could do with a bit more first team football in the initial phases of his career to really bring that development out. I do feel that in this simulation of the player career, getting that early injury did not help either. If you plan on signing the player, let me know in the comment section. Can he do a lot better once he's exposed to first team football?